Hey, what's going on? This is Jason from Jurassic Mobility. Today we're going to be going over the bench press. Got back off vacation. It seems like we have a lot of issues with medial elbow pain, some impingement within the shoulder girdle. I have two guys on my right. I have Coach Lou, who holds the American record for the bench press. Lou, say hi. There you go.
Guys.
And we have Coach Cooper, one of the best strength coaches in America. He has coached how many national champion teams? Three national championship teams. So I want to hand it over to them today. We're going to go over again the proper technique on the bench press. Guys, take it over.
I want to take over whenever we're talking about proper positioning for the bench press. Every part of your body plays a part whenever you're doing maximal bench press attempts. So Tony's going to get back into the proper position. As far as where to grip the bar, we use in powerlifting, we use max competition grip, which is the thumb and the first finger on the power ring. Moving the hands in is no significant advantage. It raises the stroke or the distance the bar travels. It may target different muscle groups, but as far as producing max power in a bench press, absolutely no benefit whatsoever. If you notice, Tony has his feet tucked back underneath him as far close to his butt as he can get. This anteriorly tilts the pelvis, raises up the abdomen, and puts the rib cage in an elevated position, thus in another step further shortening the distance the bar travels, which in powerlifting is something that we want to happen if you want to have a big bench press. You want to reduce the distance the bar travels, thus being able to do more work in the same amount of time. Tony's going to bring the bar out, and we'll talk about what he's doing as far as when he brings the bar out. What he's done right now is you saw the bar drop. When he picked the bar up, he's retracting his scapula. The shoulder blades are actually tucking inside. He's getting scapular retraction, his lats are tight, and everything is locked in. He's locked his shoulder girdle up. The other thing you'll notice is that the elbows are in locked position, and his wrists are in what we call a neutral position. The bar is not behind the forearm, the radius and the ulna. It's directly over, placing all of the vertical force, the vertical reaction force, directly into his elbow and into his shoulder. This puts the body in a very mechanically advantageous position to produce the maximum amount of force in the shortest angle. I'm going to let Luis take over when it comes to the stroke.
All right, so the bench press now. First thing you do is, before every rep, no matter how many reps you're doing, you take a deep breath and you squeeze your chest, your back tight, your scaps together. Make sure your butt's tight on the bench, your feet are planted tight, and bring it down with your elbows tucked in tight. Touch right above at the top of the sternum and press up as hard as you can. Use your feet. Make sure your butt is tight on the bench. Use your whole body to press without lifting your butt up. Explosive motion up, back towards the face, over the eyes. That's about it. That's your bench press.
Every part of the entire body is working whenever Tony is doing the pressing motion. His feet are driving into the ground, which is pushing up through his tibia, into his femur, which further anteriorly tilts the pelvis, which raises up the arch, the lumbar thoracic arch that's created in that motion. The other thing that he alluded to about taking a big breath, this creates increased intrathoracic pressure, thus turning his torso into a giant spring. We use the term loading the spring with our athletes whenever we're working with the bench press, because as the bar comes down, you're creating this elastic force as the bar is descending and the weight touches the chest. The touching of the chest in the proper position, where he talked about touching at the xiphoid process, that distance between the xiphoid process and nipple height, that is your magic sweet spot. And when he does that and touches in that position, it creates the proper angle for his elbows. So this talk about bringing the elbows out really high puts the rotator cuff muscle, specifically the supraspinatus and infraspinatus, in a very disadvantageous position, thus increasing the risk of rotator cuff injury. And if you've never had a rotator cuff injury, you never want one, because it creates all kinds of problems and recovery is slow and painful. So as Tony brings the bar down, he creates what I call a 45-degree angle, where when the bar touches that magic spot, he's going to extend all the way up. He's blowing out under pressure, under what we call forced glottis in the throat. The diaphragm is tight. Takes another big deep breath. He's going to bring the bar down under control, touching that magic spot, creating a good angle with his elbows, exploding up, breathing out, and then racking it. So the entire process, he's driving through the heels. He's pushing with his legs, tightening his glutes, which anteriorly tilts the pelvis, which raises the rib cage, which increases intrathoracic pressure, which When he tucks his scaps and loads his lats, he creates a tight shoulder girdle. He locks out his elbows. His wrists are in a neutral position. And as he brings the bar down and touches that magic distance spot between the xiphoid process and nipple level, creates the proper angle with the elbow, and everything happens mechanically efficient. That's how you get a guy like Lou who benches 700 pounds. It's the only way that happens. And that's why you see guys injuring their shoulders and guys like national and world champions at Northeastern powerlifting not getting injured.
All right, guys, once again, that is some of the bench press techniques that we teach our athletes here. Although Coach Lou didn't do a great job describing what was going on, he's someone hopefully got the point across. Tune in next week. We're going to be going over some issues that some of these bench pressers have with the medial elbow pain and even some type of impingement symptoms within that shoulder girdle. This is Jason, Jurassic Mobility. See you next week.